it's funny how the sort of progression works, because I think it's the most egoless endeavor, because you have to have a strong enough ego to believe that what you believe and how you see things is worthy and appropriate and right. But you have to be egoless enough to listen to other people's opinions, to let the film grow beyond your own ego. Because if it stays within the context of your own ego, it never really relates to a larger consciousness. It stays within you, and it's like masturbation, honestly. I mean, it's like, well, this is my film and I'm expressing myself, and aren't I great? And then it really stays in a box. But for it to grow beyond that box, you have to be egoless enough to listen and incorporate and facilitate everybody else's input, to let the project tell you what it wants, as opposed to you saying, this is me. Because if you say this is... I think there's two kinds of filmmakers, and I've said this in the past, and both ways of making films are equally valid. There are filmmakers who play God, and there are filmmakers who recognize God. If the filmmaker is God, and everything is the filmmaker's decision, that's fine. If the filmmaker recognizes God and says, I'm a translator, that my role is to listen to the project and uncover what's already in existence. It exists. It doesn't exist in the material world, but in the spiritual world, it's there. And my job is to uncover it and listen to the people, listen to the project, listen to the actors, listen to whoever's involved, whoever comes and goes in the project, to make a project materialize on its terms. Now, that's the kind of filmmaker I consider myself, is a guide, is a translator. I'm driving a bus. The bus is there, and the bus has a destination. I just have to steer it. I have some duties and some jobs I have to do, but my best instinct is the ability to listen to it, for it to tell us where to go. And both ways of making films, I think Tarkovsky, Andrei Tarkovsky is one who recognizes God, and I think Spielberg is God. I should retract that, because now Spielberg's pretty much in control of his. From what I take it, he storyboards everything, and it's pretty much execution.
He's got all the decisions that they've been made.
And even to the point where I think he really knows what the audience. He's so smart. I think he really knows what the audience is going to respond to, and that is so part of his.
But is that
not what the audience is going to experience, but what the audience will respond to. That's the difference.
But isn't that also letting go? I mean, somebody that's that good, and you retracted the statement already.
Yeah, because
it almost seems as though you have to be so open to listening that you've gone to even the next level, and you start to, at those times, you become the audience for a moment, and you're able to react to it in a virgin sense, which is very difficult for a director to do.
Well,
from
a Spielberg sense, I don't think there's a better audience director in my lifetime. So we're forced into the position of the audience. Spielberg is an audience director. He is. And Tarkovsky is the antithesis of that. And I love both work.
What would you say is some of one of the best qualities a director could have, in your words? You can start by saying the best qualities or whatever.
Honesty. If you're a dark motherfucker and you diss people and you hate life, if your films hate life, then at least you're reflecting the honest nature of yourself. And those are powerful movies, and those are powerful statements. If you love life, I don't like directors who I mean, there are people who, like, maybe go to film school, and they go to film school to learn how to make movies, and they say, look, I've learned how to make a movie or a television show, but they're not really, they don't have anything at stake. They're not really looking at themselves in an honest way. Even if it's dark, and even if it's bad, and even if it's hateful, at least it's honest. So I think there's only one quality that makes a valid filmmaker. Because there's lots of good filmmakers that aren't honest, but they're brilliant filmmakers. But for me, the honesty cuts through all the bullshit. If a filmmaker believes that if a filmmaker believes that their job is to entertain, and that's it, they don't have to teach, they don't have to cultivate, they don't have to do anything else. If the core of their being is saying film is entertainment, and they believe that, and they're honest with that, I buy it.
All right.
That doesn't happen to be my stance, but I know that this filmmaker is sincere. You know, they're sincere and they're honest, and whatever socioeconomic sort of way that they were raised, maybe they were born with a silver spoon. You know, like, you know, in politics, it's the Kennedys. I mean, the Kennedys are gifted. They're born into the political system. That gives them an advantage that maybe an upstart politician doesn't have. But that doesn't make their work any less valid or any less impactful. You know, I mean, the Mario Cuomos who come from the ethnic street, they have something different to offer, but both of them offer something. So, you know, maybe there are kids that are weaned from the industry. Ron Howard, you know, I mean, he was a boy actor, and he was very fortunate, but that doesn't, I mean, so what? So I mean, he's sincere. I mean, I think his work is sincere. I think he really wants to, I think he believes in what he's doing, and so that's okay. I'm not that. I'm Trailer Park. You know, I'm 37 years old and I haven't made my first movie yet. And that's sometimes difficult to reconcile with. Your hair gets whiter and your first feature's not out on the market. And you wonder, you know, is it gonna, you know, but then I look at Tarkovsky and I say he only made 7 features in his life and he died at the age of 56. And if I can make one film like Sacrifice, I'm ready to die. I'll be happy. I could just do one. So perfect. I've done it. Yeah.
You're, from talking to you, it would seem as though first you're an artist, and your medium of choice right now is film, is motion picture film. What, and coming from drawing or some sort of, you know, I don't know what you did as a child, and you're drawing, your paintings or whatever, photography, which is a still photograph. What does this medium, as an artist, as someone obviously with something to say, what does it offer you more than another medium, or is just something different, and what is it?
Well, I think you can't ignore the impact of motion picture. I mean, you're going to take a human being and put him in a dark room with 4 walls for 2 hours. You're going to say, sit there and don't move. Maybe eat a little popcorn or drink some, you know, Coke or something like that. But you're literally sitting somebody down for 2 hours. You have 2 hours of this person's time, and you're going to hit them with an audio-visual experience that is unequal in terms of its ability to, I mean, a play does one thing, but a film, I mean, you enter into the reality of the film in such a way that, you know, in today's terms, I think is the most powerful and most visceral art form that we have. I mean, Yeah,
A lot of power there.
there's a lot of power in filmmaking, and you have a very willing audience. An audience wants to come in. I mean, an audience wants to pay $7.50 to come in and see a movie. It's their choice. You know, more people are going to movies than they're going to museums.